Welcome to the Camp Hike Roam channel. We're out here in the National Forest once again to use our Coleman camp oven to make a delicious dessert in our box oven here. We'll be making an apple crisp. Don't worry, I will be putting this recipe in the description down below, so you won't need to freeze and read this. It's from a publication I got in 1991 on how to make it in a microwave, but we're going to be doing it in our little camp oven here. As many of you suggested, I've gotten a pizza stone to put inside my oven. This should regulate the temperature much better than just the metal box. I'm going to put it right in the bottom, very bottom of the box here, to hopefully that works well. We will find out. I've used it once and it worked great, so we'll monitor it. Don't worry, the oven is not on right now, so I can touch it. It's pretty cold, and we're going to heat it up. In case you're wondering, I got this on the internet. It's I have never seen this brand before, so yeah, I don't know. We'll find out how well it works. So we'll get this up to temperature, and then we'll start, go over to the table, we'll make our dessert. So here we go. Welcome to our camp prep table. Here I've got the ingredients we need to make our apple crisp. Apples, of course, I have 2 Gala, 2 Fuji. So we'll see how they combine together. I like to think I'm fancy using 2 different kinds of apples, but you probably can't taste the difference anyway. I do have 4 apples. I'm not sure if I'll need that many, but I do have them. And I do have this fancy apple core. It's not real fancy. Got it from Target. There's no brand marking on it. And I've had this for a long time. So I'll kind of show you how to use this. You can use a knife to cut your apples if you need to. We need Jell-O pudding. That's kind of the thickening agent in here. Measuring cups, water. It needs a little bit of water. Softened butter. I put my butter pats into a little aluminum foil and set them on a warm rock for a while, and they softened right up. Plus we have our crumb topping mixture, which I put all the ingredients in a Ziploc bag at home and brought it with me. One note here is put your it has brown sugar in it, put your brown sugar separate and then mix it just before you cook, because I put the brown sugar in at home and it absorbed all the whatever moisture was in all the other ingredients, and it was hard as a rock. So I had to smash this up with my my tent mallet to get the brown sugar kind of into smaller crumbles. So mix it fresh, it's better. Or bring the ingredients with you. I've got a little container for waste, and a paper plate to hold the apples so that the apples don't fall onto the table, get everywhere. And of course, our tin. This tin's seen better days, but it kind of got crumpled up during travel getting to camp. But hey, you're camping and it works just fine. So next step is we'll get these apples peeled. Actually, I'll show you how to do one. Fairly simple. Apple goes onto these, you pull this back, apple goes onto the tines here, and you spin her around. It's got threads here, and it's going to move it forward. There's a blade that's going to take the peel off, and it'll make a mess. And at the same time, it's going to core the middle of the apple. Fly. And then you could take your apple off, and here's the core of the apple, which you don't need. Comes off. You throw it in your waste bin. So I'm going to get these apples sliced up and into my pan. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I got all my apples sliced up and into my pan. It's kind of very full, but that's okay. The apples will cook down and it'll get smaller. I do have some extra apples left over, but if you're making apple crisp and maybe you have kids, there's no such thing as extra apples, because yeah, apples are good. You even have apple skins that the kids would love to eat, I'm sure, or you. All right, so one more comment about the pudding that you need to put in. It does need to be the cooked type, which for some reason is becoming harder to find. Everybody likes instant nowadays, so You do need to find the cook type, and you don't need much. You only need a couple of tablespoons. Unfortunately, all I was able to find was this big box. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this. You need 2 tablespoons. I don't have a tablespoon, I have a teaspoon, so I'm going to put a couple of heaping teaspoons of this, kind of sprinkle it around. Again, this acts as a thickener. It does give it some flavor, so if you want to try something different, we'll use like a, I don't know, banana flavored, or maybe a butterscotch or some other flavor of pudding, you can definitely do that. You can make it your own. Sprinkle on around, there we go. The rest I'll put in a Ziploc bag and I'll keep it for future use. You do need water, because you want a moist apple crisp. Need a 1/4 cup, which I have right here. Not a whole lot, because apples do have some water. You sprinkle it around, and I try to get all the pudding damp and kind of get it down into all the rest of the apples. Sprinkle, sprinkle. There we go. The rest will cook down. The next part we need to do is get our crumb mixture mixed up. We have our butter here. I need to get in there. There's no sugar in here. The only thing that's in the crumb, yes, there is sugar. There's quick cooking oats, flour, brown sugar, cinnamon, and you can put nuts in it if you wanted to. I can't eat nuts personally, so I did without. And of course, margarine or butter. My butter is nice and soft from sitting on a rock. Oh, I forgot earlier, you do need a knife to maybe cut up some of the apples. So put it in here. It's nice and soft. And then we're just going to kind of mix that up best we can. Meanwhile, our oven is over heating up and doing it nicely. I do have to say that the recommendation for the pizza stone, a little extra butter there, is a fantastic idea. Made it actually so much better. It's crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. Mix this up as good as we can. Now this is a microwave recipe, and it says to kind of microwave this, but I've made this in the oven before. I've actually made this for a group of people. I've made it a huge tray, and it comes out just fine. You're cooking it just like a regular apple crisp in the oven. Get this all good and mixed up. Then we'll sprinkle it all over the top of our apples. There we go. Might be a little bit clumpy. Some spilled out. It's a little windy. I do apologize for that. It's kind of a cloudy, windy day here. Spread it around. So you covered all the apples. If there's some apples sticking out, that's okay. So there we go. We'll get this into our oven. We'll check the temperature, and I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. We're back over to our oven, and the temperature is right around 325. I have found that this temperature gauge in the front of here is not completely accurate. It's probably at least 50 degrees higher than what it really should be. So I've put it down a little bit lower, and your recommendation for a pizza stone, spot on. If you don't have one, I definitely recommend one. Just make sure you take the measurements of whatever stove you're putting this into, and you get one that fits. This one fit perfectly in there, and that's awesome. So we're going to take this, since our box is blistering hot. Don't touch this right now. It's like 400 degrees even on the outside. Hey, there's flies here. They want the apple crisp. Pot holder is your friend. Even this little plastic knob is hot, so be careful there. We'll open the door, and I put my rack way up on top. Just prevent like burnage, stuff like that. So we'll throw it in there. Carefully, don't touch the edges. Close the door. And this is going to need to bake. Honestly, I couldn't tell you how long. But my recommendation is if you smell apple crisp from a good distance away, it's done. So we're going to keep checking on this. I'm going to make sure the apples are nice and cooked. We'll put a little knife in there. Once the apples are cooked, she's ready to go. So we'll come back in a bit and we'll check on it. All right, it's been about 30 minutes and it's smelling pretty good right over here. So let's check it, make sure our apples are nice and tender, but not like soggy mush. So let's take a look. Top is brown and nice. Nope, apples are still firm, so they need to cook more. I can feel there's some juice in the bottom. So we'll keep this going another like 15 minutes and we'll check on it again. All right, it has been another 15 minutes. Let's give it another check. Still smells really good. Don't forget your pot holder. Oh yeah, that's nice. That'll do nicely. Let's take her out. Let's turn the heat off first. I don't want to cause an international incident here. And fortunately, I only have one pot holder, so let's take it out without burning myself. Let's set it right over here. Pizza stone still intact. That worked fabulous. So let's see if I can show you what it looks like. There you go. Nice. Smells wonderful. I'll try some of this later once it cools off. I don't want to burn my mouth right now. In case anybody's wondering, so this is the apple peeler core julienne French fry thing. If you can find it, I like it. I use it a couple times a year. It's not a super thing. This one clamps to the table. They do have one that will suction cup to the table. I didn't get that one because my plastic camp table, the suction cup's not going to work. So I like this one instead. So this part here takes the skin off. This part here cores it. And then you can adjust how much skin it takes off. All kinds of stuff. So it comes in handy. I'll see if I can find one on Amazon and give you a link. All right. So we're going to let this cool off and we'll try it and I'll give you an update. All right. We're going to give this puppy a try and see how good it goes. It's cooled down enough. It's still warm, but it's not going to burn my mouth. So that's a good thing. The topping is nice and crumbly. Apples are very soft. Very good. I think my choice of apples could have been different. There's not a whole lot of like a crisp apple flavor. Maybe a different brand would be good. Or some cinnamon in with the apples. Make a great touch. Yep, topping's good. We'll definitely be making this one again. Thank you for watching my video and watching all the way through. If you like, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. It'd be so kind. As always, happy hiking, happy roaming, and happy camping.